Get ready for a kaiju-sized fight for Cybertronian supremacy when the Autobots and two Decepticon teams come to blows at the base of a hydroelectric dam. Will their fight create a natural disaster that will destroy all humans within the surrounding area? Let's find out in our review of Transformers number 16 from Image Comics and Skybound. See you in 3. Welcome back to Comical Opinions. This is our review of Transformers number 16. Before we dig into the issue, how about a brief recap? When last we left the robots in disguise in Transformers number 15, Optimus Prime grapples with his increasingly conflicted loyalties, whether to carry on the fight with the Autobots or to protect innocent humans pulled into the Cybertronian war on Earth. After Shockwave's failure in Transformers number 12, Soundwave waged a guerrilla war against humans to draw the Autobots out. The issue ended with Soundwave and the Decepticons clashing with Starscream's Splinter Cell and Bruticus at the dam where the Autobots set up camp. Alrighty, that brings us to the current issue. In Transformers number 16, the Transformer vs. Transformer battle rages on. Constructicons form into Devastator for a kaiju-sized fight against Bruticus. The giant robots come dangerously close to damaging the dam and sending a tidal wave into the surrounding areas. Along the dam's upper walkway, Starscream, still attached to a remote-controlled HISS tank, comes to blows against Soundwave. Their one-on-one fight breaks up when Astrotrain rams Soundwave and Thundercracker begins a strafing run on Starscream. Thundercracker transforms into a robot and begins pummeling Starscream. During their fight, Starscream taunts Thundercracker's decision to join Soundwave when he tells his opponent that Soundwave agreed to scrap Skywarp for parts. In other words, Soundwave wasn't the opposition to Starscream's plan, he was his willing partner. Thundercracker reels from the revelation, but he snatches away the remote that controls Starscream's hiss and sends him careening off the dam's edge. Down below at the base of the dam, Optimus tries to stop the senseless fighting before the dam is destroyed. Suddenly, the Autobot leader is assailed by the vision of a child strapped to a mechanical device by wires. The vision's pain causes Optimus to fire on the Bruticus and Devastator fight, but the shot goes wide and cracks the dam. A massive flood washes all combatants down the valley toward a pair of kids on bikes. Optimus can't get to the kids in time, but they're saved at the last instant by the newly revived Trailbreaker. Meanwhile, on Cybertron, Cliffjumper leads Elita 1 and Bluestreak to a former camp recently destroyed by Decepticon bombing raids. There, Cliffjumper uncovers a spark canister he hid many years ago containing spark fragments of his former allies that were killed in battle. The issue ends with a plan to rally the fragmented Autobots on Cybertron, Beachcomber and RC zeroing in on Ultra Magnus, and Laserbeak locating the last hope of the Decepticons on Earth. Hey, do you want to be part of our growing community and get exclusive perks? Become a channel member today. By becoming a member, you'll support a channel you love, which is ours because everybody loves it, but you'll also gain access to special badges, emojis, and members-only content. Click the join button below to become part of our family and help us create more of the content you enjoy. Now let's get back to the review. And that's the description of the issue. Let's get into the pluses and minuses. First impressions, wow, this is a great comic. Transformers number 16 is a doozy of an issue in a good way. After a string of setup and transition issues, writer Daniel Warren Johnson cranks up the energy, urgency, and wow moments. Those transition issues were decent enough, don't get me wrong, and they move the assorted characters around on the game board, if you will, but they won't blow your socks off. They were just okay. In particular, though, the last page reveal of this issue marks the arrival of a Transformer whose return is long overdue, and that should give you a small hint without spoiling it. So let's switch gears and talk about the art for a second. Jorge Corona continues to deliver the goods in this issue, as almost every page is dedicated to big robots, some bigger than others, wailing at each other in a precarious setting. Corona plays up Warren Johnson's mix of serious drama, over-the-top action, and a little bit of humor, not too much, just the right amount, to deliver a visually impactful issue. And that brings us to the positives and negatives, starting with what's great about Transformers number 16. This issue has everything fans of the series like, and in some cases even love. You get strong emotional beats, high drama, big action, forward progress in the war, sort of, even though because it's not quite clear where the war is headed, and cool reveals that get you amped up for what's coming next. Not a single page or frame is wasted on fluff or superfluous scenes that don't go anywhere. Every square inch of this issue is dedicated to telling the most engaging story possible. And that brings us to the negatives and what's not great about Transformers number 16. Honestly, there's not much to criticize in this issue beyond the odd, inconsequential nitpick. If you're a fan of the series, everything you like about it is in Transformers number 16. If you're not a fan or have never read a Transformers comic, you could pick up this issue and jump in without too much trouble and still have a great time. And that's the hallmark of a great comic. If you're a follower, you know what's going on. If you're new, you still figure out what's going on, even though you may not get the nuance and some of the in-between details. This is a great comic from start to finish. Let's take a step back and look at the bigger picture and the continuity of the series. Readers who've enjoyed Image and Skybound's interconnected Energon universe may be curious to know when the teased crossover with G.I. Joe is coming. For now, the answer is a big fat TBD. The most recent issue of Void Rivals, which is number 15, and there's a link to the review down in the written review, so if you want to check that out, please do so. That issue comes the closest as a scout mission from Cobra Law comes into contact with Skuxoid, but that's as close as the interconnected series has come. We'll report the details once they're announced regarding the crossover, but for right now, it's just sometime in the vague future. So final thoughts, what do we think about Transformers number 16 from Image Comics and Skybound? It delivers all the Transformers goodness you've loved about the series so far. You get drama, action, emotion, surprises, and wow moments aplenty. Daniel Warren Johnson capitalizes on the recent transition issues to craft a meaningful action fest. Plus, the last page surprise is a game changer for Transformers fans. Therefore, Transformers number 16 earns a 10 out of 10. This is probably one of the strongest Transformers issues we've had in the last few months, and it's a game changer depending on how you interpret the last page, which is a big deal. But what do you think? Are you enjoying the Transformers series so far compared to the other publishers who've had it in recent years? Leave a thumbs up if you found this review helpful, and drop a comment below with when and where you expect the Transformers to cross over with G.I. Joe in the near future. I want your speculation about the timeline and what is the catalyst that's going to make that crossover possible. Also, remember to click on the link in the description to read the written review, check out the variant covers and preview pages, and buy this comic to help support the channel. Your support, of course, is greatly appreciated. And don't forget to subscribe via the link below. So thank you very much for joining, and stay tuned through the outro for more reviews just like this one.